welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abasti. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And I'm like a freaking jewelry manufacturer at this point. It's like a jewelry factory in my house. That's all I've been doing is making jewelry. And now that I know how to make earrings, I've been making sets of bracelets and earrings. And then I just kicked it up a notch again and made a necklace with a bracelet and earrings. So I love it. It's fun. And I can just make pretty things. And if I love them too much, then I keep them. Otherwise, I put them on my Etsy shop. And I did make a sale yesterday, the day before yesterday, because I posted on Facebook. I don't usually do that because I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm selling. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm selling, but I don't know. It feels weird to me. So I was like, I'll just post it like I'm showing off what I'm doing, and that is what I'm doing. Because I'm proud of them. And then within like 10 minutes, somebody bought like the best thing I had made. So I think I'll share it more often. I'm definitely enjoying doing it. It's a lot of like really tiny work, so I don't have to move my eyes. So it seems really good for my head. So we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of like painting or crocheting or sewing. These are all things that don't require my eyes to move around, but I do get a little obsessed, as you can tell. I think I made like 10 jewelry sets in the past 2 days. And so I get obsessed and then I don't rest. And so that catches up with me anyway. So just when I started talking, I started feeling like, oh man, I'm exhausted, but I'm enjoying it, and that's positive. So today I'm going to be talking about being of service and how helping others transforms ourselves, how when we see our impact on others, it has a positive impact on us. And I feel like it's almost like giving a gift, for Christmas. I love watching somebody open a present I gave them because I love seeing their face light up. I love making other people happy. And that's why a lot of these hobbies, I like to do things that I can give to other people or sell to other people, impact other people in some way. My sister asked me if I would be willing. I guess she was going to pay me, but of course I'm not going to have my sister pay me. Um, she wanted me to make a bracelet for a friend of hers who was having a birthday. So I made her a bracelet and earrings. And my sister was really excited. And then her friend was really excited and just loved them. So all of that stuff makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm not just caught in this like selfish loop. And that's what I was doing when I was drinking. I was in this like selfish loop. And so when I sit down and work on jewelry or painting, I'm always thinking of other people. Like, I wonder who, like, my sister would probably like this, or my mom would really like this. And any excuse I can have to get out of self is a positive thing. Um, when I always go back to my sobriety because that's where getting out of myself started. I didn't know I was self-consumed. I had no idea. Um, if somebody were to tell me, actually, I heard early in the meetings like that we have this self-centered fear and so forth. And I was like, I'm not self-centered. I'm always thinking of my kids. I'm always thinking of others. But when it came to my drinking, I was drinking because I had self-centered fear. I had things that I was trying to ignore or look over or try to numb so that I, side note, the fan is on over my head and it's making me dizzy. So we're going to take a little break and I'm going to turn off the fan. There we go. Live action. Oh, live action. Okay. So, I did not realize that I was self-centered, but that's absolutely what I was. And it makes me sad to think about that. All the times that I felt like I was focused on my kids, there was a lot of times that I was focused on my drink. And, to take away the drink and start looking at the things that I was trying to ignore about myself or my fears was freaking overwhelming. And the isolation that I was in um, started to get stripped away, but it was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable begin um, to begin connecting with other people. So let's see. My brain is all over the place. So what my morning meeting was talking about this morning, or what I heard was connecting with others and how once once we're able to get to this point where I'm no longer constantly filling my tank, that I start having a little leftover to give. And when I was able to start giving in the program, when I started being able to be of service, the same thing has happened in stroke recovery. When when I first started going to the stroke support groups, I felt like, oh my gosh, I felt so broken and damaged, just like in early sobriety. And I didn't even turn my camera on in the beginning because I was embarrassed to not be able to look at the camera. I didn't want to be on camera if I couldn't look at it, if I couldn't look at the other people on the other side. And I also was a little embarrassed to wear these glasses all the time. I remember, I think I mentioned this the other day, walking into the grocery store with sunglasses on was embarrassing to me. And it's fascinating that I was so self-centered, that I was so caught up in image that I was not willing to do what was best for my head. And I think that it wasn't just image. I also wasn't quite sure that the sunglasses or these glasses were going to be effective. So I didn't want to make a spectacle of myself. Um, but over time, I started to be able to accept my disability. And the more I got to hear other people's stories in the support groups, it started to fill my tank. And I started to feel like now I've got some experience here and it works just like sobriety, where I can start sharing my experience with others. I can share my struggles so that others don't feel the same way that I felt in the beginning. And when I was going to my vestibular support groups, I remember that I guess after, I don't know, I've been going for 2 years now, I think. And in the beginning, no, I should say after like 6 months or so, there were other people. I started to be able to focus on somebody else, focus on the newcomers to the vestibular support group. And I heard, started to be able to hear them saying the same thing that I struggled with. I started to be able to relate from the standpoint of having the experience and sharing it with them rather than being the person who's coming in and needing to hear other people's experiences. So, when I'm in that self-focused mindset, it's just a recipe for anxiety and depression, and honestly, addictive thinking. So when I can finally get out of self and start being of service just by showing up, being of service, it redirects that energy towards creating it create in the process of trying to create relief for the other person, I'm creating relief for myself. um, I learned in sobriety that we keep what we have by giving it away, and that's holds true in my support groups as well in stroke recovery. Um, Showing up in my stroke support groups shows me that I'm not alone. And then as I'm going over the months and I start being able, it's like it's like the curtains start opening or something, and I start to be able to sit back and feel like this is where I belong, and I want to make sure that other people start feeling the same belonging that I do. And that's when I start sharing my story to try to give others hope. Um, I was thinking this morning about a woman in my stroke support group who reached out to our support group leader and asked if she could stay in contact with me. And I was feeling very flattered, honestly, that somebody wanted to reach out to me and talk to me outside of the meetings, because really a lot of the stroke support group meetings are once a month. So we have like 28, 29 days or 30 days out of the month that we're not connected. And so I was really flattered and grateful that she reached out to me and wanted to connect. I felt like so she's newer than me in the support group. And I think she had her stroke um, after I had mine. So she's more, how do I say that? Her stroke is closer to the rearview mirror than mine is. Um, and I feel like I can give a little bit. Um, she seemed very depressed in the first meeting that I heard her talking. And I just wanted to be helpful. I wanted to be able to extend that idea that she's not alone. And even though we can't control our circumstances, like we can't control our disabilities or our deficits, but we can control where we focus our mind. And And I can do that by making thoughtful decisions, that requires me to pause first. Um, when I feel myself in a negative mood, I will, first off, I will pout a little bit. And then, I do start to have this habit of like, okay, what can I do to get out of self? Um, Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just have to crawl into bed and take a nap because, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? That's important too. Don't ignore my needs. Being of service to others is not priority over taking care of my needs. But getting in the habit of being of service for others trains our minds to look for opportunities to contribute rather than staying stuck in our own um, anxiety, depression, or even limitations. Recognizing, if I'm pouting because there's things that I can't do, what I can think about is, you know, this person sounded a little distressed this morning. So what can I do? What, my limitations don't keep me away from picking up the phone and reaching out to somebody and just sharing that I'm thinking about them. There's a lot of times that I will just text somebody when they cross my mind and say, I was just thinking of you. That's it. That's all you got to say. And making that choice creates resilience. Even though it doesn't feel like it right away, when I pour myself into someone else, I'm strengthening my own, um, yeah, resilience. It allows me to like, what's the word? Like bounce back. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it allows me to bounce into a positive mindset. And then that positive mindset automatically has a ripple effect. If I can make a positive impact on somebody else, it hopefully will ripple out from them. Um, I'm certain because I experienced it when I'm going about my day and I'm just stuck in the middle of humdrum and I get a text, hey, I was just thinking of you. I hope you're doing okay. Then my spirit gets lifted, if even just slightly, it gets lifted. And the lighter my spirit, the bigger the smile on my face, the more I'm impacting other people around me in a positive way. So, this ripple effect changes how they're feeling, how they may impact others, and it changes how I view myself. I'm looking at myself as somebody who has something to contribute. I have something of value to add to the world, and that builds confidence in me. It helps my self-worth and gives me purpose. And all of that counteracts any of the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment and all of that stuff. Um, I've been trying to be consistent about it. I've been trying to um, a lot of times in the morning when I'm sitting in a meeting, as I have memory bubbles that cross my mind in meetings because of something somebody has said or whatever the topic is, if somebody crosses my mind in those memory bubbles, that's usually when I'll reach out to them. And if I can make a habit out of that, that consistency is key. And when I can work that, because that is service, just reaching out to somebody and trying to lift them. I mean, I don't know if they're sad, happy, or whatever, but I see it as being of service when I'm reaching out to another human being and giving something away. Even if it's just this slight little taste of love. Um, I'd like to try to weave that into my daily life. And I'm not perfect at it. I don't do it every day, but I would like to. I'm trying to shift my intention on a daily basis. So rather than what am I getting? What am I getting? Are we going to get this house that we're buying? What am I going to get for whatever. I don't know. What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? If I can shift it into like how can I give, it just changes the rhythm of my day. It changes my attitude. It makes me feel a little more like I'm a part of, and that's important to me right now. Um, Other people have no idea how much they're giving me by letting me be of service to them. I'll say that again. People have no idea how much they're giving me by letting me be of service to them. And I think it's important to think about if how much we are giving to somebody else when we ask them for help. Because I think that when we're asking somebody for help, we're giving them an opportunity to feel good. And as much as we don't like to ask for help, it I think it's a gift. It's it's another way to be of service to other people. I mean, that sounds backwards, but it really is. Because if I don't know, I'm trying to give an example. Like when I was needing a ride to my vestibular therapist and my husband was working, I asked my sister-in-law if she could drive me. And she was honestly and sincerely happy to help me. And even though, like, when I was asking, I felt like I was inconveniencing her. But that's not what I was doing. I was allowing her to show up for me. And that is a way of sharing an experience together. Um, it feeds the soul of the giver, you know? Um, so yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have. Being of service to others. Yay. Do it. I really am ending there. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.